Archbishop Foley is presently the chairman of the Global Anglican Future Conference of Provinces. He'll say more about that, I'm sure. Um, we're also a province of the Global South, a fellowship of churches, which is far and away the majority of the Anglican communion. As everybody, I think, knows, the Anglican Communion has been through a time of realigning and reforming, just as Anglicanism here in North America has been through a time of reforming and realigning. Um, there's certainly a progressive wing of what's called the Anglican Communion that we're not in communion with. But we're in communion with the vast majority of the provinces. I think the number, and Archbishop Foley I think the number is 41 now with the province of Alexandria, or is it 42?
I think it's 41.
Yeah. When I was Archbishop, there were only 38 provinces. So I think it's going in the right direction for the right reason rather than the wrong reason. It's a global fellowship. It's the third largest body of Christians in terms of its affirmations after the Roman Catholics and the Orthodox communion of churches. So we're a part of that, and we've played just a tremendous role in that. I mentioned earlier the Anglican Relief and Development Fund. Of which at one time I was the president, and Archbishop Foley is now the patron. He said the roles change.
Technically the president still.
Yeah. But again, this province doing everything it can in relief and development for the provinces that stood with us and rescued us in our spiritual crisis. We have some things we can do to help them in their daily life and work.
I'll never forget when I was elected Archbishop and we had to run to a church service, and then Archbishop Bob had said, well, I'd like to get together with you later that night and kind of go over a few things. And so he's going over this list of things, and he said, oh, by the way, you're now the president of the Anglican Relief and Development Fund. It was quite a shock. But I think as I describe our involvement, I view us more, I think the right word would be servant leadership to the rest of the provinces. We're called upon again and again because of our testimony of what we have been through and the witness that we have to stand firm for the truth of the Bible and the gospel. But at the same time, we tend to have resources because we're in the West. And so how do we serve people in a way that's godly and right and not enable people? And so I've seen us, our role really to be servant leaders to the rest of the world. And God seems to really be blessing that. We're in communion. If it depends on which numbers you use, but most people now tend to agree that there are about 80 million Anglicans around the world, and if that's the case, we're in communion with about 60 million of those Anglicans. And that's through GAFCON, the Global Anglican Futures Conference, as well as the Global South Fellowship.